Hello and welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia. The Wall family from Nottingham are going to take a chance on giving up their life in the UK for a new one down under.
I've never actually been, so is it just a dream? I'm not really sure.
But are they prepared for what that would mean to their loved ones?
It would be like saying the last goodbyes.
Goodbyes isn't the best at any time, man, when you're probably not going to see them in the flesh again.
And will a wake-up call put an end to their dreams?
That's a big disappointment in my eyes. Gutted.
There's recently been a 20% increase in families seeking jobs in Australia. With its warm climate and promise of work, it's a very attractive option. For people under 45 with a skill in demand, it could be a realistic time to make the move. But if you've never even set foot down under, it's a massive challenge. 20 British families have been pushed to breaking point as they find out about real life down under. And after just 1 week, they'll have to vote one way or the other, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia. Paul and Angela Wall live on the outskirts of Mansfield in Nottinghamshire with their 2 children, 15-year-old Dylan and 11-year-old Becky. And there's another on the way. Angela is 4 months pregnant. Paul works as a self-employed carpenter and joiner, but he's been hit by the credit crunch. A move down under might be the solution.
Work went pear-shaped over here a bit. Australia seemed a better place to go because there might be more job opportunities. I do know that they're building a lot of houses at the moment over there.
Angela was surprised when Paul first suggested it.
My first reactions were, don't be silly. Can't do something like that. And then, of course, when you talk about something like that, straight on internet and have a look, and it looks so much nicer over there. The quality of life looks so much nicer. But I've never actually been, so is it just a dream? I'm not really sure.
Angela juggles 2 jobs as a carer to help make ends meet. Life is a struggle and she's worried it won't get any better.
At the moment, it's always wondering whether there is work over here, whether there's work for the children as well, especially with Dylan leaving school next year. It's such a worry knowing that they've got to fend for themselves as well as we've got to fend for ourselves.
Angela's particularly worried about Dylan's prospects as he's dyslexic, but Paul knows that his son has some useful skills.
He's a bit like me, really. He's good with his hands. He's not a silly lad, he just struggles with words.
Fake, dumb, retard, yeah, all the time at school. Just because you got dyslexia don't mean you're fake.
Becky is really close to her grandparents and Angela is worried that she doesn't understand what's at stake.
Becky's just dead excited. She thinks it's just a big holiday. I don't think she really realises what it's going to be like, the fact that she won't see her grandparents as often as she does.
At the moment, Becky has some more pressing concerns.
I would be a bit scared if there was a crocodile that went into the house and if there were spiders and that, because I'm scared enough.
How's crocodile getting in? Is going through the cat flap?
As well as being part of a strong community and having great neighbours, they have a large and supportive family. Paul's parents live just round the corner and Angela is particularly close to her sisters, but her parents are her first concern.
Dad's not well enough to fly out to Australia. That has got to be the hardest thing to leave behind. My parents' first impressions was, can't you wait till we've gone, till we're not here anymore? They didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want us to mention it. and they went into denial if we said anything about it.
Dylan's hungry.
The Walls don't often get to enjoy days out together, and they hope this will change in Australia. Life has been hard for the family recently, but are they prepared to leave behind all that they love in the UK? For the week down under, we're sending the Walls to Perth, capital of Western Australia. Situated between the bush and the western seaboard, Perth has a relatively small commercial centre, busy during the day with office workers, shoppers and diners. This area is surrounded by city suburbs, offering a mixture of apartment and townhouse living. The suburbs spread out north and south along the coast. The further you go, the more you can get for your property pound.
We found 3 possible lifestyles for our family, each one offering a brand new way of life for them to try on their budget. But which one will be the most suitable?
The Walls could make the most of trendy dining and high-end shopping with a home in one of the city suburbs surrounding central Perth. Popular with many young professionals, Subiaco has a great reputation and is one of the most fashionable places in Perth to live. For Dylan and Rebecca, entertainment options here might be a big draw, but property doesn't come cheap. This 2-bedroom home would set the family back £615,000 and would be too much of a stretch for their budget. But there'd be plenty of potential work options for Paul nearby, where he could expect to earn around £200 a day.
So, very different from their life in the UK. But what about the second option?
A laid-back life with the outback on your doorstep can be found in the outer suburbs of Perth. There are affordable homes and family-friendly suburbs such as Ashby, which has a strong market garden scene. But work in the outer suburbs would be scarce, and Paul could face a substantial commute of up to an hour into the city for work. A 4-bedroom home like this would cost the Walls around £320,000, and they wouldn't feel out of place, as the area has a strong British contingent.
That all looks very inviting. But what about the third option?
Relaxed waterside living is readily available in one of the many coastal districts on Perth's western seaboard. The aspirational suburb of Mount Claremont is only a stone's throw away from the beach and a 10-minute drive from the city. Beautiful properties like this 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom family home command a price for the desirable location, with this one costing £730,000. But if you venture further up the coast, good-sized family properties can be found for around £450,000. With this option, Paul's potential work could be only a 15-minute drive away.
So 3 very different options there, all of them life-changing. So where did we decide to send the Wall family?
With the promise of a good quality of life by the sea for the new baby, a range of sizable family homes, but with a shorter commute into the city centre, we decided that the coast was the best option for Paul and Angela and their growing family. We've arranged a job for Paul to try.
All right, mate, I'm Paul.
Set up a selection of housing options.
There's a swimming pool. I definitely like this one.
And lined up some leisure time to help them decide whether to make the life-changing move down under. Angela and Paul want to find out if Australia will provide a better way of life for their family, but will Perth live up to their expectations? They only have a week to try and decide where their future lies. After an exhausting 9,000-mile journey, they emerge on the other side of the world. So, how did they cope with the 18-hour flight?
Flight was quite good, it weren't that bad.
I don't know, I'm ready for bed.
We were all right.
And it's not raining. What do you think of it?
It don't feel like Australia.
It doesn't seem like we're here yet. It's not real until we get out there.
It hasn't sunk in yet for the girls. Well, the journey's almost over. The Walls are staying in a 3-bedroom house in Connolly, a northern suburb only 2 minutes' drive from the beach and 15 minutes from Paul's potential work.
Big, isn't it?
Nice entrance.
So, first impressions are good. and the open-plan living area should suit their needs for the week. But there's only one thing that's at the top of Angela's wish list.
It's got a dishwasher, we're all right.
How will upstairs fare?
I'm having this one.
Well, this is Becky's room, is it?
I've had this one.
Angela's already worried about the local wildlife.
Make sure there's no spiders in there before you put clothes in it.
You're that scared?
Spiders not included, a family house like this would cost around £220,000 to buy. And with the centre only being 20 minutes away, it's ideally located for exploring Perth.
I like this.
Well, this is where we're all going to relax when it's a nice summer's day.
No, you're not. This is my bedroom. This is my luxury away from you.
Mum and Dad only room.
How come there's 4 chairs there?
I think she's got you there. So what's their overall impression?
It's a bit smaller than ours, though, isn't it?
You reckon? I don't think it is.
Yeah, I do.
I reckon the kitchen's smaller, but I reckon...
The entrance is bigger. What do you think, then?
I like it. I could rent it and live in it.
You'd move.
Yeah. Could live here. Nice.
It's the end of a long journey for Dylan and Becky, but for Paul and Angela, it's just beginning.
It's going to be the biggest week of his life, isn't it?
Definitely.
To decide.
If it's worth coming or not. Moving and leaving our family behind. No sister to go out with.
Nobody. Don't know anybody at all. And it is a long, long way.
Back in the UK, Angela and Paul live in an extended 4-bedroom house in Nottinghamshire, which they bought 16 years ago for £22,000. But they have since spent a lot of time and money renovating it. In Australia, they're looking for a 4-bedroom house and have a budget of up to £175,000, depending on what work Paul can get. We have found 3 suitable homes for sale. The first is located in Stratton, 20 minutes from Paul's potential work and a half-hour's drive from the beach. Being slightly more inland, it offers value for money, as this 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom property is on the market for £180,000. So, with a little negotiation on the asking price, the Wolves should be able to afford it.
Small TV.
This main lounge.
Yeah, I don't know. This is...
Tiny, isn't it?
I don't know what you use this for.
I don't know what you call it, whether it's a lounge or extra lounge.
I like this one, it's pink.
I think this one might be the main bedroom, like with ensuite.
Oh, yeah.
It's all weird having a bedroom down on the first floor.
Dylan, it's a bungalow.
We've never lived in a bungalow before, have we?
Yes,
It's strange, isn't it? I'm looking out top front house.
But what will they make of the living area at the back of the house?
That one wasn't there.
That's better.
This is bigger.
Don't like colour. Don't like the green.
No, the kitchen needs ripping out, don't it?
I think they like the magnets just a bit.
No, I don't like kitchen at all. It's old-fashioned, isn't it?
You'll change this all together.
Yeah, you'd have to find a joiner, wouldn't you, to change it.
We know who to call then, but Paul soon spots some worrying features.
No skirting, Dylan.
I know.
Plastered to the floor.
Well, what you do, that's the main job you do.
Maybe they don't bother with it.
While Paul chews that over, there are the other bedrooms to see.
What would this be?
There's another room. There's another bedroom.
It's another bedroom.
Another wardrobe with any doors in it.
They don't like doors.
No. I have to leave them a business card. I need some doors fitted.
Paul's spotting work opportunities everywhere.
I reckon rooms are too small.
They are tiny, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's time for the back garden.
This is actually quite nice.
I like it.
It's nice and bright, isn't it?
Shaded for Barbie.
Need a swimming pool.
For garden.
There's no room for a swimming pool.
Becky's a bit disappointed, and she's not alone. At £180,000, this property is right at the top of their budget and isn't what they were dreaming of.
It's not big enough.
We can get a lot nicer house in England for that amount of money.
Yeah.
Really.
More room and
Yeah.
inside and outside, can't you?
Yeah.
We're not bettering ourselves.
No, I don't think we're bettering ourselves for this one. Definitely
It's
not.
not big enough.
No. So it's a no for first one, isn't it?
Yep.
Too dear, too small.
Too small.
It seems the Walls' eyes have been opened, and as they start coming to terms with what they can afford on their budget, it's on to property too. Located only 5 minutes' drive from the Indian Ocean and 15 minutes from Paul's potential work, the coastal suburb of Belden is only 10 years old and has plenty of open spaces to kick a ball about. This 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom property is on the market for £200,000, so it would be a bit of a stretch on their budget.
I'm liking this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? Because the trees aren't garden.
And I think the beach is only 5 minutes away.
Sounds like we're off to a good start.
Well, this looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more like a front room.
This L-shaped reception room then opens out onto a spacious dining, kitchen and living area.
Now this is good.
The kitchen's better than the other one. It's not
This
as big.
is way good. I could sit here to watch telly.
Becky's decided this is the home for her.
I like this.
You're moving in?
Yeah.
This house is really nice, but we ain't gonna afford it.
Ever the optimist, Dylan?
Might have to sell everything.
Sell you.
Aw, Daddy doesn't mean it.
But if we did come, this would be pushing the budget, you know.
Oh well.
Oh well. You won't be able to eat.
Oh well.
Maybe they should see the rest of the house before crash diets ensue.
This will be my room, I guess.
Why? Because it's pink already.
Yeah.
It's still a bit small, but it's more room than
Yours get
normal.
bags, these aren't rooms, don't you? I thought that were going to be a wardrobe.
No, they look like that is.
Yeah.
The wardrobe's over there, like.
Oh.
Little one.
You won't fit your clothes in there, Beck.
I do what that person does.
That's the spirit, Becky.
This will be Mum and Dad's room.
Yeah, I like this room.
You probably could get a bit noisy.
Walk-in wardrobe.
With doors.
An ensuite. I like this bedroom. It's bigger than our bedroom at home.
But I reckon it might be noisy on Main Road.
Yeah.
But money, I think we're pushing budget for work we still need to do. But you want to move in, don't you?
I prefer it to the last one.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, this one's a lot better than the
I'm
last
still
one.
not sure.
They're undecided and the road noise is an issue, but it does make the property more affordable. Maybe the small water feature out back will make up their minds.
There's a swimming pool. I definitely like this one.
This is nice.
This is a lot nicer than
That's
the other
where
one.
me and Dylan's going to be, and that's where you and
sitting
Dad's
area,
going to
isn't it?
be.
I would only move
Dolphin.
if we were moving to a house like this.
The outdoor living space has really inspired the whole family, although Paul's trying to keep his feet on the ground.
I think we'll be pushing it to come and move in here straight away. I think we'd have to rent and still basically work his way up to something like this. It's more what I dreamed about.
This is what we've got to go back and look for, innit? See how much we can get, how much money,
Might be a
how much
bit
our house is
upsetting
worth.
when-
If I can get a job, what I earn now will be alright. We can move into this.
Good, hope we can.
They're right. Buying a property like this would depend on what they could sell their house for and how much Paul could earn. But even pragmatic Dylan seems to be won over.
It shocked me really. Dylan's actually turned around and said he'd actually come to live here for this house. So things are looking up.
But Paul's still coming to terms with Perth's property prices.
This morning I was quite shocked at how much more the cost compared to England. I was a bit disappointed, to be honest. I don't know if you hope for too much when you come over.
Perhaps option 3 might be the answer to the Wall's budget concerns. With Paul in the construction business, Angela's always hoped that one day he would build them a dream home. In Australia, he could do just that. Buying a plot of land and getting a house built on it is a viable option financially. In Butler, a northern suburb only a couple of minutes from the beach, you can get house and land packages from £166,000, well within the Wall's budget. But of course, you have to start from scratch.
Is this what you've always dreamed of? Having a plot of land in?
No, I've always told Daddy ought to build us a house, but
And I've never been that interested. I don't know why I'm a bit off put
But you build new houses. You should.
I know.
You should praise new houses. We'll have to go and have a look at show home and see.
Yeah.
It seems Paul's a bit daunted by the scale of a project like this, but Angela's keen to talk him round by showing him what kind of house they could live in if they gave it a go.
This is nice.
Very modern, isn't it? Would you be able to do something like this?
Yeah. If you did it, it wouldn't look like this. Not be as nice.
That's not the kind of encouragement Paul needs, Dylan.
This will probably be your room, I guess.
Yep. This is nice.
The fancy pillows.
What's behind? Is that your bathroom?
I would have thought so.
I like that pillow, Dad.
Wardrobe.
Dad.
This is a walkthrough.
Do you think
En
we'll
suite.
need-
I like these. Nice.
I know you said you don't like new houses as such, but
You do, don't
I
you?
do.
Angela's sold. She just needs to convince Paul.
This is nice.
Nice size.
You've always wanted a red kitchen.
It's a proper kitchen.
Could you see yourself in here though, watching telly and that?
Don't know, it's all too now.
What's
We'd have to buy
next?
all new furniture if we came in here.
What new furniture anyway?
Yeah, you want a new life, new house.
New study and 4 new bedrooms if you want to.
Rebecca's room.
But this bit...
Yeah, because we've been in main one, haven't we?
We've been in main
I
one.
like this one.
Yeah, that's nice.
You prefer this one, don't you?
Of course.
I can see where you're swinging.
It's nice, it all looks clean, fresh.
And Paul might be persuaded. Taking into account a house and garden finished to this standard would cost around £175,000.
This is cheaper than the last house we looked at.
Yeah.
I know that had a pool, but this is all new. Compared to a new house in England, money-wise, what would you get?
Money-wise, you'd be probably better with this one. The price of land is expensive in England.
It's something to look at, isn't it?
It's surprising that you can get a new one cheaper than the older properties we've looked at.
The Walls have seen 3 very different options. The first house was within budget, but the bedrooms were too small and it wasn't what they were looking for. Property 2 would have been a stretch financially, but they loved the pool and the open plan living area. The house and land package was an affordable third option and has certainly given them food for thought. But has it been enough to choose Australia over their home in the UK? Time to vote.
After looking at the 3 properties today and comparing the prices and what we'd get for us money over in Australia, we've all decided, and our vote will be...
Australia!
England!
Why did you pick England?
I don't know. I didn't like the first house.
Yeah.
And I decided from then I prefer my house at home.
Well, you liked the last one.
I did like the last one and now we're very undecided. I could still go either way, but if I've got to make a choice, my house at home.
It's been a long day and the Walls head home with Angela at least undecided. Later they discover how much their UK home is worth. And they find out how much everyday life down under will actually cost.
That's a big disappointment in my eyes.
But will Angela be more or less convinced about a move down under once she's come face to face with some of the local wildlife?
The Walls want to spend more quality time as a family and hope the better weather down under means they can all enjoy the outdoor activities together. But having never been to Australia, will it live up to their expectations?
For many people, the charms of Australia lie in its outdoor culture. Barbecues, beaches, outdoor activities and general fun in the sun. Unfortunately for the Walls, today it means rain and lots of it. Oh well, at least we have something to distract them with. To show Angela and Becky there's a lot more to Australia than spiders, we've arranged a trip to Perth Zoo to help them find a new appreciation of all that's wild and wonderful in Oz. The heavens open just as the Wolves arrive and it starts raining cats and dogs, well, just the one. Zookeeper Belinda Turner introduces them to Durka.
Good morning.
This is the Australian wild dog, so not like a domestic dog which loves hugs and pets. Dingoes like to sniff on their own terms. All right, well, I'll take you guys up into the Australian bushwalk. You can meet some of our other cool Aussie animals if you like. Just follow me up this way.
Bedraggled Durka's not that keen on the reins, so while he goes off for his breakfast, Belinda takes the walls into the bushwalk section, which focuses on Indigenous animals.
It looks like some off at Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And where better to start with than the most iconic of marsupials and Australia's national symbol. Belinda's brought some tempting vegetation with her so Becky can meet orphaned kangaroo Flex.
She's only 2 years old, so she's still only a young kangaroo. Flex was actually a hand-raised animal. Her mum threw her out of the pouch, which a lot of kangaroos do when they feel threatened. A female with a pouch on will actually contract the muscles and throw her joey out of the pouch to either distract the predator that's chasing her or to lighten her load to get away from a bushfire. They can throw their joey and save themselves. So it's a really harsh way of life, but Australia's a pretty harsh environment.
A creature that's well adapted for survival is the echidna, one of only 2 egg-laying mammals in the world. These shy fellows are a year old.
But you can see they've got backwards-facing feet. Echidnas like to dig a lot, so these are like little shovels. They're hollowed out and they do lots of digging. They can dig really quickly into soil and basically submerge themselves, so only the prickly bits are showing, which means that predators can't really get them.
Cool.
There's a scratch, so you can see scratching with that long claw, some grooming. So that's how you get in between all those spikes, is with a really long claw, so you don't prickle yourself. What do you think?
Weird.
That's one way of putting it, Becky. The wolves find the slightly less prickly koalas having a nap, but then they do sleep up to 20 hours a day. The next marsupials are a bit quicker on their feet, but apparently not quick enough.
So the Tasmanian devil used to be found all across Australia, even here in Perth in southwest WA up to about 500 years ago. But when the dingo got introduced to Australia, it was a better competitor, a better predator than them. It took a lot of their food and they did become extinct on the mainland of Australia. The dingo didn't get to Tasmania, which is the only place where the devils now exist. They have just been put onto the endangered species list and they're predicted to possibly go extinct in the next 15, 20 years, which is quite awful. They're a beautiful animal and we do hope that there are good efforts to save them.
One creature the Tasmanian devil definitely wouldn't want to get up close and personal with is Belinda's next suggestion. She sends the wolves off to meet one of Australia's most feared native species, the saltwater crocodile.
This looks not real.
It's ready to eat us.
It is real because it moved its leg.
Could eat you all.
Yep.
You're not chewing, you just swallow you in one.
Yeah, I know. Look, it's size of its neck.
Has it actually blinked? Does it blink?
They do blink, but not very often. What do you reckon then? Coming to a country what's got them in rivers?
Bit weird, because...
Weird? What about scary?
Yeah.
They're not in Perth though, you know.
Paul's right. Saltwater crocodiles are only found in northern Australia.
I'd still be careful, just in case.
Yeah. Not that scary, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm with the girls there. It's clear the wolves are beginning to realise how different Australia is to home, and the morning has given them some time to start thinking about what could be the biggest decision of their lives.
Quack, quack, come over here.
Dylan and Becky head off to take in some of the less indigenous species, and although the weather's improved, Paul's been surprised by life down under.
A little bit disappointing on the weather. We didn't expect this much rain, to be honest, but just a bit too much like England at the minute.
But his thoughts turn to Angela.
I'm trying to make Angela see we can have a better life out here, but I don't know. I still think the family's a big thing for us still. I think Mum and Dad's playing a big part.
I don't know. I'm still not sure what I want. I'm still 50-50. I really, really do not know. I think Paul, especially with the second house we looked at yesterday, I mean, he loved that house and he could see our future being there. He's more up for it at the moment than perhaps I am.
But one thing's for sure.
The kids have definitely changed their mind. They really don't want to go home now, so I don't know if it's for right reasons.
I'm not sure Dylan and Becky would agree with that, but whatever their reasons, it's time to put them to the test. How will the Wall family vote?
We've had a lovely day here at the zoo. The weather's turned out nice for us. We've seen a lot of nice animals. And the vote is going to be... Australia!
Are you surprised I voted Australia?
A little bit.
Why?
I don't know. I thought you all were going back.
Yeah, but I think on lifestyle, it's more relaxed and there's more to do.
The Walls have all been impressed by the Aussie wildlife, but coming up, their views on a life down under are seriously put to the test when they get messages from back home.
Angela and Paul are concerned that Becky and Dylan would struggle if they cut ties with friends and family in the UK. If they emigrate to Australia, they have to be sure they can make new friends.
They are especially concerned that because of Dylan's dyslexia, he would struggle to fit into college or find work. So we've arranged for them to meet up with Carol Sargent and her daughter Jamie, who's also dyslexic.
Hi Rebecca, it's nice to meet you. You guys want to come and sit down? So yeah, I'm Jamie.
Yeah.
Rebecca. Sweet.
So you got dyslexia, haven't you?
Yeah, I had a lot of people telling me I was dumb and stupid, so I'm working really, really hard to prove them wrong.
That's annoying, isn't it? You get a lot. Because some people, I know I'm clever than them, but just because I can't read and write...
They think they're smarter and they tease you for it.
It just makes school life and things a lot harder.
For a long time, Angela and Paul weren't sure why Dylan was struggling at school.
They don't really tell you that much in England about dyslexia. I mean, it's took a long time for us to get him diagnosed anyway. But you find out a lot of your teachers treat you as though you're a troublemaker, don't they?
Dylan has actually been chucked out of class for actually asking for more help. Just basically turn around to him saying, you were there, you listened, you're just causing trouble.
Carol explains how Jamie has benefited from the Australian schooling system.
You can do a combination of high school and what they call TAFE, like a college you go to learn a trade. Jamie does, she does 4 days at high school and 1 day a week she goes into TAFE in town and does a media course. So if you're a person who's more of a hands-on person, you've got that option of if your child is having trouble academically, they can go in and do your TAFE part-time or full-time, depending on if it's going for a trade. So
this sounds like it could be a good option for Dylan. But in the meantime, Carol and Jamie want to show the Walls the local sights. They take them to nearby Joondalup Park and Lake, and while the kids take in the local wildlife, Carol wants to find out what's holding them back.
what about family?
I could move away from our family. I could talk to my mum and dad over the phone.
Yeah.
But she's a lot closer to her family.
I've got 2 sisters and a brother, and then my mum and dad. Yeah. But my mum and dad wouldn't ever be able to come over here.
Yeah.
My mum perhaps could, but my dad wouldn't. My dad wouldn't be able to fly.
So how do you think you're going to go coming over here not having any family?
I really don't know.
Because you're going to be away with work?
Work, and she'll be stuffed with a newborn.
So it'd be very much getting you finding people that you can connect with.
Carol's hit the nail on the head, and in true Aussie style, she's ready to lend a hand.
I think it would be very essential for her to try and make friends as fast as possible, find different groups. So we've said that we'll keep in contact, so if she decides she's going to stay, we can help her meet new people.
The day's experience has certainly given Dylan a lot to think about.
Today's been useful, her being dyslexic and stuff like that. It's been interesting. It's made me think it should be easier to make friends over here, but there's still other things on my head what makes me think about staying at England. It's a long way and it's a lot of hard work, isn't it? Just to move place and starting everything from now. So.
Dylan is unsure about where his future should lie, but how do the Wall family feel about the prospect of making new friends down under?
I've had a great afternoon. It's been brilliant meeting friends, finding out about Dylan with his dyslexia, and I think at the end of the day we've all decided and the vote will be...
Australia!
Families like the Walls with teenagers may wonder what options are available to their children when they leave school. If you're not academically inclined, like Dylan, there's a great system of vocational training in Australia to get school leavers into work.
Training is an absolutely pivotal priority of our government, and I think right throughout Australia. We have around 1,600 training institutions throughout Western Australia that provide a plethora of opportunities for those students that want to take up a training opportunity.
As early on as secondary school, students in Australia can begin to focus on vocational skills.
The Australian education system values non-academically inclined students, and they offer various programs. One of them is through TAFE, which is Technical and Further Education, and the program offered gives a VET qualification, Vocational Education and Training qualification. They include courses in hospitality, secretarial studies, manual arts, the traditional building trades apprenticeship courses.
Or for something a bit different, the robotics course at this college brings together several disciplines to engage students in a fun way.
We developed a program where the kids in engineering actually create an arcade machine. It's sort of catering for lots of different sorts of students who have different skills.
As students look towards employment, school-to-work programs provide workplace experience.
Students would do either a career link or work readiness program whereby they'd be out of school for 1 day a week doing specific on-the-job training. They actually have a structured workplace learning program developed for them by the college in conjunction and with the cooperation of the employers.
So, for Dylan's dreams to take up carpentry, there seem to be plenty of opportunities available. And with only 5.7% of the Australian population unemployed in 2009 compared to 7.9% of Britons, the prospects for emigrating teenagers are good.
So if you are in Western Australia at the moment, there is absolutely no excuse for you not endeavouring to pursue a training pathway which will take you through life, really, with meaningful career opportunities.
Uppermost in Paul's mind when viewing properties was cost. Can they afford to move to Australia? It's vital they take into account what they can make for their UK home and the cost of living in Australia. It's time for a reality check.
In the UK, the Walls own an extended 4-bedroom house on the outskirts of Mansfield, which they bought 16 years ago for £22,000. They estimate it now to be worth around $95,000. But what is the true value in the current climate? We sent round 2 estate agents to assess the property. Any potential move down under depends on what they can get for their house. We've got a DVD for them, and it may prove worrying with a drop in property prices.
Ready to press play?
Yep.
There we go.
Nice room, opened into the kitchen.
Looks bigger.
Oh, this is good. Well fitted out, plenty of modern units. This will certainly be one of the selling points of this house. Double glazed patio doors to the garden, UPVC also to the front.
Work in progress. Nice little room, super. Reasonable second bedroom.
Great den. Completely unexpected part of the accommodation.
It's got a delightful kitchen. It's got a very nice layout of rooms downstairs. Upstairs it has a 4th bedroom which has been extended off the 3rd bedroom, meaning that it's not a private room, and that probably hits the price a little bit, as does the fact that for this area it's more developed than perhaps you would expect. Therefore I would value it for a sale at $85,000. With a quick sale I would bring it down to $79,950.
Well, that's $10,000 less than they thought it would be worth. There is so much riding on the value. Maybe the second agent will have a more promising figure.
It is well maintained throughout. Got the gas central heating, the double glazing, and the accommodation has certainly been improved by the current owners. My only concern is whether they have overspent on it in terms of the loft conversion, which is useful space, but sometimes can be a loss leader. Valuation-wise, I'd be looking to put the property onto the open market at an asking price of $79,950, and for a quick sale I'd be looking at $74,950.
It's not the news they were hoping for.
Gutted.
The valuation makes up Paul's mind.
So we'll be looking to rent if we could. Definitely. I won't sell it at that. No way.
But that's asset market at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, but that we knew that anyway, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Don't make it any better. But...
No.
As the children head off, Paul faces facts.
I thought it'd get closer to 90, really, but so them houses we've looked at over here won't be able to go for straight away anyway.
No.
Be renting. It was weird seeing the house on a DVD, wasn't it?
Yeah, it didn't look bad though, didn't it?
No, I'm quite happy with it. Didn't have a swimming pool though.
With that disappointing news, Paul and Angela are going to have to do their sums to see if a move to Australia is possible at all.
We've provided the Wolves with some details of everyday costs of living in Australia, not something the children have to think about, but of crucial importance to Paul and Angela.
Council tax, £100. So that's same then, isn't it? Seeing your mortgage is a big jump up, isn't it? And then you've got your air conditioning on top of your gas and electric. Plus you don't get your NHS that you get over in England.
With the unexpected costs of private health insurance and air conditioning, it's not looking good.
So look at shopping.
There's more things what are dearer. I said frozen pizzas were dearer, didn't I?
Yeah. But I think everything is food-wise. Not an awful lot, but when you add it all up, over a month you're talking another £100 on your shopping, aren't you? Don't make it any easier.
No.
Was it?
That's a big disappointment in my eyes.
Yeah.
The cost of living's dearer. The house is dearer.
The job's got to be marvellous.
Yeah. Gutted.
Life down under is much more expensive than they'd believed it to be, and Paul's taken it particularly hard. He needs some time to gather his thoughts.
Paul's shattered by it. He really liked the houses that we looked at, and he was set for coming, but with the price that we'd get for our house and the price of living over here, I think it's been a big blow to him. It's going to cost us more to live here, so it all depends on Paul's wages again.
It was all a bit disappointing. Bit of a shock to us, really. I don't know if we were just being naive and thinking that things like that were going to be cheaper over here. The second house that we looked at, I could see at the weekend sitting by watching kids playing the pool and that. I thought if we did get a really good price, that maybe we could sell, but really reality kicks in and we know really that the price weren't going to be good. It's just that when you see something you like, you start wishing, don't you?
After finding out the price of our house in England and comparing different prices of the cost of living in Australia compared to England, we've both thought about it, and our vote will be England.
That was easy, wasn't it?
It all hinges on Paul's work. Will he earn enough to finance a move to Australia and the lifestyle they've dreamt of? The pressure's on.
Back home in Nottinghamshire, Paul works as a self-employed joiner and carpenter. He can earn anywhere between £400 to £700 a week, but a job's been hard to come by since the recession. In Australia, he hopes that work will be plentiful and that it'll be better paid. Paul is up early and he's very aware of how important this is.
A lot rests on this morning at work, really, because if the wages aren't as good, basically with the cost of living being a little bit more out here, that'll put a right damper on things.
While Dylan relaxes at home, Angela and Becky check out a local mother and toddler group. If they emigrated, Angela faces the prospect of looking after a new baby without the support of her family. So she's keen to find out what amenities and support there are for new mums.
Hiya, I'm Angela.
I'm
Isla. Hiya. We're looking into moving to Australia. It's our first visit and we're just seeing whether we like it, whether it's suitable for us.
That is the wrong season to see whether you like
it. I know. Just wondering what help there is out here for when you've got young children.
There's a lot of kindies and like this playgroup centre, so we go and do swimming lessons, and we do a dance lesson at the community hall. And the mums, we sometimes get together socially as well outside of the playgroup without our children, so it's just nice to, you know, catch up and without these interruptions. So yeah, so it's good.
With Angela at home looking after the baby, Paul would be the sole wage earner in Australia, so it's vital that his day at work goes well. He's meeting Andrew Moschella, who runs a local carpentry firm.
Hey, I'm Paul.
Yeah, hi, my name's Andrew. How's things?
This family business should be right up Paul's street, as they cover new builds as well as renovation and restoration work.
This is my dad, Andrew.
Hello, I'm Paul.
Andrew, Andrea. Father-son team, obviously.
I've got a son who's 15, but I want to become a joiner as well.
So you want to form a team, father and son like me?
Yes, definitely.
If you work hard, you get there. People want nice doors and nice joinery.
Yeah.
It's always work.
Good.
But Andrew points out that there has been a drop in demand for joinery work in Perth.
Not because of the recession, really, just the way things have gone. There's a lot more aluminium, steel jams in the new housing, if you like, the cheaper sort of stuff.
Well, I've actually noticed that when I had a walk round, and I thought, oh.
But still the renovation market, people want to maintain what's already there in the older suburbs, the inner city and all the rest, so there's still enough work, I suppose, if you like, in the joinery side.
Meanwhile, Angela has found a mum who has already made the move from the UK.
So how long have you been in Australia?
I've been here 4 years now. My husband and I came out, just the two of us, and we had Ruby, who's here, and then Matilda.
Are you glad that you did it? Or?
Yeah, definitely got absolutely no regrets at all. We haven't been back since.
Angela addresses some concerns.
Was it easy enough making friends over here? Or?
Yeah, I do think when you have kids it's a lot easier, because obviously with the mothers group that's been great for me. I think I just made a decision whether to look, I hope my parents aren't watching this, but rather than look back at the past generation, to look for the future, and we just thought it'd be such a better move for our children.
At the workshop, Paul's got some important questions himself, not least, will he be able to find work?
Things are definitely slowed down over here as well, but I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as obviously what you're experiencing over there.
I'm just wondering about the salary over here compared to England. Back in England I could earn somewhere between £150 to £200 on day work.
Yeah, look, most of the guys on site, I would say, you know, are earning their sort of $300, $400, $500 a day.
That's not what Paul was hoping to hear, as at £150 to £250 a day, that's the same as he could earn in the UK. And Angela's worried about Paul getting bad news.
At the beginning of the week, yeah, he was really up for it. He thought, yeah, brilliant, we'll be able to do it. And then after watching the house price and the cost of living, it has put a dampener on it, and is starting to think, no, we can't do it, we can't afford it, which is making him feel down about it.
Andrew's brought Paul down to a coastal property he's working on to show him the type of job he could do here.
So this is a job that I've been doing for probably about a year now. Let's go inside and have a look.
Yeah, this is definitely the sort of thing I'll be interested in.
Also, obviously, you know, we've got some skirting and architraves run around the door jambs and everything here that the guys still have to put on. A couple of doors that still have to go on. All the joinery that we've done here is all out of Jarrah, which is a local West Australian hardwood.
Paul gets down to brass tacks.
Is there any chance you get in touch with me if any job opportunities turn up?
Yeah, look, obviously you know what you're talking about, and there is a market still over here for this sort of work. Good trades are hard to get, so yeah, I can't see why not.
That's a bit of good news then.
So it seems that finding work won't be too much of a problem in Australia. But how is Paul feeling about the salary?
A little bit disappointed on finding out the pay over here is about the same as Britain, so with the cost of living, it's going to be a bit harder to move over.
It's been a crucial morning, and it's time to vote on work.
After finding out about work today and pay and availability of work, the vote is going to be England.
Paul is finding it hard to make his dream of a life down under work, and things are only going to get tougher still.
Paul and Angela don't know anyone in Australia, and they're about to have a new baby. Will they be able to cope without the support of their loved ones in the UK? We've recorded some messages from their friends and family to help them consider what making a move to the other side of the world would mean.
You ready?
Bye, everyone.
Hi.
Angela, Rebecca, Dylan, hiya.
Hi, Angela. Hope you're having a good time. Angela's a good mother. Always has been a good mother. She does look after her children, look after Paul.
He is good to his family and he's good to us when we need him. We know he's going to be there when I need him.
I think being neighbours, you can't really ask for any better. You can't pick your neighbours, and certainly if I was to move again, I would wish for neighbours exactly like those.
They're just always there though, aren't they? If they're not there, then they'll be sadly missed.
It's funny. makes lots of mistakes. Like bike rides, it's always him that falls off his bike.
Gets stuffed.
If there's anyone who's in trouble, it's usually him. He makes us laugh, doesn't he? Yeah, he's a character.
We are a close family,
We are
aren't we?
quite a
All the
close-knit
children,
family.
yes.
We all live
And we see them every
within
week.
about half an hour of one another.
At least once a week.
see them all at least
see
once
them
a
all
week.
once a week. And that would be an hole in
Yes,
that,
yeah, and it was to be
in
a
the
hole in the
structure.
family, wouldn't it? I dread the thought.
You can pick the phone up, but it's not quite the same, is it?
It's not being in the same room with some.
We go down there, we sit, we have a cup of tea, we have a barbecue together, whatever. And it's a proper, interaction, isn't it, between us?
Well, obviously, we don't want them to go with his heart, which is his head. We want them to go out there and do well and settle down.
And to get on their feet.
And to get on the feet.
My dreams is for him to really make a good life for him and his family if they do decide to step over there.
Because Paul's a really hard worker, and if anybody deserves it, he does.
It would be like saying the last goodbyes, because there's no way I could get across to Australia, and I'd only be able to communicate with them over the internet, wouldn't I?
Goodbyes isn't the best at any time. Man, when you're probably not going to see them in the flesh again.
It's come to the end of your week now, you've got some big decisions to make. Just hope that everything that you choose to do, if it's to stop out in Australia, then, brilliant. If not, then come back. Our barbecue's always lit for you.
All right, Dale, I hope you've had a good week. Find yourself a girl, maybe, that likes you. Right. But, yeah, remember, we're still here. We don't actually want you to go, but if you feel it's good for you, then you should. We'll still get in touch with you.
I know you've got a big decision to make. I know it's hard. It is hard for us as well as you, but we will support you in everything you do.
We know that it's something that you've really wanted to do for a while now. I hope the decisions are coming through and that you make the right one. You know we're all going to miss you, don't you? Get me going now, look. All we want from you is, to enjoy what you're doing there, make sure it's something that you want to do. I'm sure you'll make the right decision. Love you loads. Bye.
I was expecting you crying.
That's Dad.
I know, I already said that.
He's got watery eyes.
So, would you miss everybody?
Yeah,
What do you think about my mum?
very upset.
With what you expected then?
I
I'm
don't know.
surprised you didn't cry.
She's not the soppy one.
I think Paul was surprised by the strength of his feelings there. Has he underestimated the emotional ties with the UK?
It's nice to feel like you have actually achieved something back at home. Your mum and dad don't actually tell you how proud they are of you when you grow up. It's nice to hear about that.
But Angela's feeling pragmatic.
Lots of people do it. Lots of people emigrate. Yeah, it's a long, long way away, but if you want to better your lifestyle, you have to think about these things. And it's just one of the sacrifices you have to make.
As the Walls prepare for their last evening in Perth, Paul still knows what he really wants.
The dream is still Australia, because I think Rebecca and my little lad what's not here yet, I think it's going to benefit them loads.
The week has been a real test for the whole family.
It got off to a good start when the Walls fell in love with house number 2.
This is nice.
It's what I dreamed about. If I can get a job, what I earn now, we can move into this.
Good, hope we can.
And although the weather could have been better, the Walls did enjoy what Australia had to offer. But their dream of a new life was dealt a big blow when the cost of living in Australia proved much higher than expected, and Paul's salary turned out to be much less than they were hoping for.
It's put another nail in the coffin, really.
It's a massive decision for the family, and it's crunch time. Will they choose to stay in the UK or start a new life down under?
We've had a great week, we've found out loads of information, we've seen the family and friends, seen what their views are. Shame about the weather, we've had plenty of rain, but it makes you feel like you're back in England. But after everything else, we've decided, and our vote will be...
England! I do want to come, but I don't think it's just right time for us yet.
I would say I wouldn't like to rule it out and say no, we're definitely not coming, but I don't think time's quite right at the moment.
You just ain't got the money, have you?
There's a lot more involved than what we thought.
Despite the disappointment of what Paul could earn, the Walls did enjoy the lifestyle Australia has to offer. But in the end, financial practicalities and the concerns of having a new baby on the way proved just too much. It seems they won't be moving, at least for the time being. Join us again next time when we find out how another British family get on when they're wanted down under.
All that glistens is not gold in Flog It at 4:30, and who will be the first to take the walk of shame in The Weakest Link next.
Hello and welcome to Wanted Down Under, the show that catapults a British family right across to the other side of the world to help them make the biggest decision of their life, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia.
The Wall family from Nottingham are going to take a chance on giving up their life in the UK for a new one down under.
I've never actually been, so is it just a dream? I'm not really sure.
But are they prepared for what that would mean to their loved ones?
It would be like saying the last goodbyes.
Goodbyes isn't the best at any time, man, when you're probably not going to see them in the flesh again.
And will a wake-up call put an end to their dreams?
That's a big disappointment in my eyes. Gutted.
There's recently been a 20% increase in families seeking jobs in Australia. With its warm climate and promise of work, it's a very attractive option. For people under 45 with a skill in demand, it could be a realistic time to make the move. But if you've never even set foot down under, it's a massive challenge.
20 British families have been pushed to breaking point as they find out about real life down under. And after just 1 week, they'll have to vote one way or the other, whether to stay in the UK or to move to Australia.
Paul and Angela Wall live on the outskirts of Mansfield in Nottinghamshire with their 2 children, 15-year-old Dylan and 11-year-old Becky. And there's another on the way. Angela is 4 months pregnant. Paul works as a self-employed carpenter and joiner, but he's been hit by the credit crunch. A move down under might be the solution.
Work went pear-shaped over here a bit. Australia seemed a better place to go because there might be more job opportunities. I do know that they're building a lot of houses at the moment over there.
Angela was surprised when Paul first suggested it.
My first reactions were, don't be silly. Can't do something like that. And then, of course, when you talk about something like that, straight on internet and have a look, and it looks so much nicer over there. The quality of life looks so much nicer. But I've never actually been, so Is it just a dream? I'm not really sure.
Angela juggles 2 jobs as a carer to help make ends meet. Life is a struggle and she's worried it won't get any better.
At the moment, it's always wondering whether there is work over here, whether there's work for the children as well, especially with Dylan leaving school next year. It's such a worry knowing that they've got to fend for themselves as well as we've got to fend for ourselves.
Angela's particularly worried about Dylan's prospects as he's dyslexic, but Paul knows that his son has some useful skills.
He's a bit like me, really. He's good with his hands. He's not a silly lad, he just struggles with words.
Fake, dumb, retard, yeah, all the time at school. Just because you got dyslexia don't mean you're fake.
Becky is really close to her grandparents and Angela is worried that she doesn't understand what's at stake.
Becky's just dead excited. She thinks it's just a big holiday. I don't think she really realises what it's going to be like, the fact that she won't see her grandparents as often as she does.
At the moment, Becky has some more pressing concerns.
I would be a bit scared if there was a crocodile that went into the house and if there were spiders and that, because I'm scared of them.
How's crocodile again and is going through the cat flap?
As well as being part of a strong community and having great neighbours, they have a large and supportive family. Paul's parents live just around the corner and Angela is particularly close to her sisters, but her parents are her first concern.
Dad's not well enough to fly out to Australia. That has got to be the hardest thing to leave behind. My parents' first impressions was, can't you wait till we've gone, till we're not here anymore. They didn't want to talk about it, they didn't want us to mention it, and they went into denial if we said anything about it. Dad?
Dylan's hungry.
The Walls don't often get to enjoy days out together and they hope this will change in Australia. Life has been hard for the family recently, but are they prepared to leave behind all that they love in the UK? For the week down under, we're sending the Walls to Perth, capital of Western Australia. Situated between the bush and the western seaboard, Perth has a relatively small commercial centre, busy during